Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Healing in Hindsight, episode 6. So on this episode, I wanted to share with you guys my personal numbers and readings. I'm coming up due for another A1C test, which is the blood test that your doctor will take in order to determine where your levels are. It's kind of making sure that your blood sugar levels are stable and that your what am I trying to say, Lord? It's basically a way to check that the treatment that they're doing is working. That's what I'm trying to say. So I wanted to just take a deep dive into my history so you guys can kind of learn what I've been dealing with and my goals and things kind of with it. So yeah, with that said, let's get into it.
Perfect.
You're listening to Healing in Hindsight, a health and wellness podcast where we strive to conquer type 2 diabetes. Hosted by me, Taylor Daniele. When I was first diagnosed, I didn't have a lot of people around my age who lived similar lifestyles to learn from. I want you to know you're not alone, and we'll have real, honest, and vulnerable conversations about it all. Here, I share my struggles, tips, and more.
Okay, guys, so today we are going to talk about my A1C. If you don't know what an A1C is, again, it is a blood test that your doctors are able to send off to a lab and determine what your average blood sugar level is based on treatment that you're doing. So I'm going to tell you guys my history with my blood sugar levels and kind of what I'm hoping for in the future and what I'm currently working on. I'm actually coming up on a test pretty soon. June was the last one that I had. Let's go with that. Yeah, let's go with June. So I'm pulling up my medical records here so I can actually find it because I wanted to do it in real time versus having it all out. Okay. So just for a little background, I actually got my A1C tested back in 2014, December. And this was when I was trying to prevent diabetes, actually. I had talked to my dad about it before, and I don't think I took... Yeah, he didn't give me an actual blood test. So he was weird, guys. I did not enjoy that doctor at all. I said, do not put me back with him when I scheduled again. But yeah, nothing that I went through. Essentially, he said that I should be, worried about. So that leads to November 20th, 2015. Oh man, I was diagnosed right before Thanksgiving. Ugh, that sucked. Okay, so I'll give you two things. I'm going to share with you my A1C, and then at the time of them testing my blood, they also tested my actual blood sugar levels, so which you see on your meter every day. So November 20th, 2015, my percentage, or A1C percentage, was 13.2. Well out of range. My blood sugar levels were averaging 332. So Yeah, deeply out of range. My glucose levels were 276, which is also very, very out of range. So that was my diagnosed day, if you will. And I remember in that appointment, my doctor was like, I can see the sugar in your urine. Like it was bad. It was really bad. It was really, really high. And so that brings us to my next test, which this was kind of when I was in between work. So I was able to get my prescription refilled, but paying to have the blood work done was really hard. So this is almost a year later, which is not good when you are a baby diabetic. You want to go every 90 days. So do not do what I did and not go. I'm trying to be better about that. It's not fun, don't get me wrong. I don't like having to go give blood every 90 days just to, make sure I'm doing okay, but it's what you got to do. Okay. So September 24th of 2016, again, almost a year later, my A1C percentage was 9.7. So definitely a significant drop. This is after a year of being on medication. So it's obviously helping. And then my glucose, or blood sugar levels was kind of, it was like we'll just round it up, 232. So still pretty high, but a lot better in seeing that A1C percentage drop. And then that leads us to, I think this is when I changed doctors at this point. And sorry guys, the scrolling, it's real. Okay. So, this is bad. not the numbers, but just like how much time is passing between this. Again, back and forth jobs and access to things. I was just like riding my drugs as much as I could. Okay, so this is June 29th of 2018. So there's about a whole year in there where I was just, there was actually a point where I had like a bunch of medication, but I wasn't taking it like at all. I just stopped. Very hard year. And then I started again because I was able to actually get in to see my doctor because I had insurance again. 2017 was a really hard year for me. It was a hard year, but also a good year. It's really weird. It was a year where I ended a 5-year relationship, and there was a lot of other stuff in that I'm just going to keep private. I'm not going to talk about it. Don't ask me about it. It's done. We good. But, there was some very emotional stuff that happened during that time. It is also the same year where end of 2016 was hard. And then beginning of 2017 was when that 5-year relationship was finally like completely closing. And then that late spring going into summer is when my partner moved to Texas, and I had a job. And then I ended up, it was for a very small salon. So they didn't have insurance. I'd actually left a job that I'd been at for over a year where I experienced my first promotion. And so when I joined up with this salon, although it was great, I loved doing it. It was a waxing salon. It was different. It was so small, like insurance wasn't something they could provide. So I had to pay for my insurance. So I did Cobra for like a month and a half. It was so expensive, so I couldn't do it. So I just didn't have anything until I left the waxing salon and got back with a corporation where I could actually get insurance. So this is a result of being able to go to the doctor again. And my A1C, June 29th, 2018, was at a 9.2%. So it dropped a little bit. And my blood glucose levels were at 217. So still high, but definitely went down a bit. And again, this is kind of a part of like just solo managing and then some medication, which, yeah, it was tough. And so that leads me to January 25th of 2019. This is when I switched to the Combiglize, but it was a hard transition for me. So I wasn't taking it consistently around the same time. That's when it kind of got a little weird. So January 25th, 2019, my A1C percentage was at 10.8%. So I did shoot up a bit. And my blood levels were at 263. So still in that 200 range, not great, went up a bit. I definitely was experiencing a lot of deep self-esteem issues. My weight was up and down. I was in and out of the gym or trying to have a gym routine, all this kind of stuff. And it was pretty difficult. Just trying to stay sane with it. It was also when I like revamped the website again. I was trying to, really make Healing in Hindsight work as a blog, but, I was also working, and this was the company that I was with for almost 2 years, and I've been promoted twice. So I was also managing people, and it's just a lot. Not an excuse. I definitely could have been doing a lot, but I was trying to juggle way too much. So that brings us to this year, which is June 8th of 2020 was when I had my last A1C done. So it is August right now, August 5th, and I will be due for another one. Let's see. September. Yeah, September is when I'll be doing my next one. So I'm in my last month. So drum roll, please. So my A1C as of June is at 10.2%. And then my blood sugar levels was at 246. So still considered out of control is how they word it, or out of range. And I'm not going to lie, I was really disappointed to see that. And not because I was surprised. I knew that my A1C was not going to be drastically different. And, it did drop a little bit. It was 10.7, I think was the last one. And now it's 10.2. So it's tough. But at the same time, consistency in getting into my doctor's appointments, consistency in medication it's tough, y'all. And I will say COVID has provided opportunity for me to have a routine. I've just been struggling to have a routine. I can regimen myself down to the last minute, and then I get so out of whack if I don't follow it to the T. I like to automate and streamline things. And I'm good at it when it's not me, when it's other, people, places, or things. I could do that. It makes me good at my job a lot of times. But when it comes to me, it's really hard to keep up with, because as much as I love the routine and the structure, I'm a creative as well. So I like the chaos and the go with the flow aspect. And so I'm usually constantly warring with myself of have a routine, be consistent versus just do what feels right. So it's tough, but I am more dedicated than I've ever been. And I'm more gentle with myself. Not only in just kind of my intuitive eating, but in doing something as basic as, listen, as long as you make it to taking your meds today, that's really all that I care about. Take your meds, check your blood. That's really all that I can do right now. to kind of have that consistency, and I can add to it later. So it just goes to show, guys, it's a work in progress, but it's something that I'm truly trying to stay on top of. So September, I will have an update on that, and we'll be able to hopefully see some changes, because my medication has changed a little bit. So I am still on Combiglize, 1,000 milligrams, 2 pills of that in the evening, but my doctor has added glipizide back to my regimen. I wasn't taking it when she switched me to the extended release Combiglize, and that actually has helped a lot. I'm noticing a significant change, coupled with, like we talked about, in the last episode, timing. I noticed that the later that I get my meds in, usually the higher my number is the next morning. But if I can take my meds about between 7 and 8, then my numbers are usually pretty good the next morning. And then, of course, just being thoughtful about what I'm eating throughout the day. I am really excited about some things that I have worked up, because there's a lot of companies and brands that I have been looking at, and a lot of them that I already use, and I really want to be able to share that with you guys, of everyday things that you can have in your fridge, in your pantry, or whatever, where you can still enjoy good coffee or tea or drink or whatever, and not have to worry about how much sugar is in this shit. Oh my God. What? Can you, just looking at labels, like, I know people really like the Body Armor sports drink. There's so much sugar in it. Just the sugar. I'm not even talking about the carbs, because remember, carbs is also sugar. But it's so tasty. So I have to water it down, like literally water it down, like a teaspoon, it feels like, just to enjoy it. So much of that to come. Don't worry. But, this is something that is a ongoing thing. It's something that, we all need to kind of look forward to. So just kind of a recap. The A1C percentage test is basically percentage of sugar in my blood. And the reason why this episode is titled as Strive for 6.5 is because normal range is between 3.5% and 5.6%. Okay. So I am double that. Okay. So I need to cut this in half. And when I talked to my doctor about it, she said, I can't even consider pulling you off any medication until your A1C gets to 6.5%. Okay. So that is what I am striving for. I'm striving for 6.5%. How do I know I'm getting there, though? Well, my average glucose levels, which is the blood sugar levels that you check with your meter, usually it is based upon a range from 70 to 130 it's not milligrams. It's something, but just know that that's the number that I'm looking for, anywhere between 70 and 130. Now, when I check my blood sugar levels, I actually post it on my Instagram stories every morning. I've been trying to date them because I realized that it doesn't always show the date on them, so my bad. But I do post it. It's one of my highlights if you want to kind of see where I'm at. And since being put on Combiglize and glipizide together, I've seen a change from being like averaging the 180s, dropping down to the 160s and lower. My first couple of days on it, I did experience some false shakes, if you will. And I checked my blood sugar at the time of feeling it. It happened to me twice. And one of them, I was like 118, which is in range. And the other time I was at 85. So I was getting close to getting too low. So I did have to drink a little bit of juice or something just to kind of bring me up and keep me in the middle. I have had one or two mornings right at 139, which is still better than nothing. It's only kind of 10 points away, if you will. So my goal is really to get myself, when I check in the mornings, anywhere from 120 to 130. I think that's a good goal to hit. It's only anywhere from 20 to 15 points lower than what I'm kind of doing now. And so again, that definitely requires my night routine to be a little bit tightened up and to be thoughtful about how I'm also starting off my morning. But I usually do any sugary, heavy carb stuff in the morning, honestly, because then my body has longer time to process. So like my oatmeal and stuff, I really love oatmeal. But I do have to be careful with those kind of hot cereals. Speaking of cereal, there's a couple of brands that are like keto friendly cereals, if you will. Those just seem to be, keto stuff seems to be a good go-to for me, at least as a diabetic, because it's always going to consider no sugar, because that's what the diet is about essentially. So I do invest in some keto-based products because it helps with that. But yeah, I do love cereal, and I'm not saying I've denied myself Honey Nut Cheerios or Reese's Puffs or Fruit Loops or any of those wonderful sugary snacky things. But I'm very, very, very mindful of how much I do it. And then my lunch, I try to keep pretty light. If I'm going to do any other heavier carbs, then I'll do it then. And then my dinner, that's when I try my best not to every now and then, because, I am tired. I love my stir-fried stuff. So sometimes I'll have some rice, especially sticky rice, or, flat noodle stuff. So I'm not being so restrictive that I am not enjoying food, but I'm very conscious of how much and what I'm consuming. So that's going to be my goal. Since I've just started this glipizide addition, like a week ago, maybe like end of July, maybe like third week in July, I'm not sure if my A1C is going to reflect that completely, but now that I'm on it, I'm hopeful that, there's still something going on. And even without it, I've definitely tried to be a lot more mindful, especially with eating out. Eating out is really hard with the pandemic right now, but I'm trying to be more thoughtful about that. So I'm hoping that even if it's just a couple of drops in that percentage, something is better than nothing. But I'm striving to get to 6.5%. So that I can try to come up off of these meds. So that's it. That's really all I wanted to share. That's my history. It's a little sporadic, but moving forward, I am going to be a lot more consistent about going in every 90 days or so, making sure I'm staying on top of that, kind of being more thoughtful about how I'm eating, what I'm eating, when I'm eating. And I know that sounds like a lot to think about with food, but I'm really working deeply on my relationship with food, because it is a big part of what's gotten me to this point, at no one else's fault but my own. And so I'm really trying to dig deep in that. So I'm excited because I'm working on a lot of things to really revamp my eating style and work with and try brands that are allowing me to still be an adult, a young adult. I'm only 30, y'all. I'm not, out here with a family and kids and all settled down. I'm living, and I want to travel and I want to do all these things. So I'm really looking at, brands and things that are going to help me do that without make me feeling like I'm losing out, being able to enjoy something. So more to come on that. But just wanted to share my numbers and show you like, hey, nobody's perfect. I am beyond that. So it is still a work in progress, but we're going to do it. We're going to kill it. And 6.5, here we come. Thank you so much, guys, once again for tuning in. Man, even listening back to that, it still stings a bit. It still stings a bit. 10.2. But it is a journey. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So I'm gonna look forward to these blood tests, because it is my challenge to myself of getting to that 6.5%, coming off my meds, or at least partial of it, and really digging into my, relationship with food and what I'm keeping in my house and how I am setting myself up to still be on top of ensuring that my diabetes is controlled without feeling like I'm missing out on enjoying something like a really good latte or something, you know? So all of the things that are completely riddled with sugar, I am on a mission to find ways to have those same things with a much better twist where I don't have to think about it. I don't have to feel like, oh my God, this caramel macchiato is just shooting my numbers through the roof. So more on that to come, but until then, thank you for being here. As usual, wherever you are when you're listening to this, I appreciate your support and everything that you guys are doing, not only for yourselves, but for the mission of healing in hindsight. So you already know the spiel. If you got some time on your hands, like, subscribe, leave a rating on iTunes. If you're listening from YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe and leave comments. I got a lot more in store for YouTube stuff. So if you're there, thank you for hanging in there until I can come out with some more stuff where it's a little bit more visually involved. If you're not, hey, go check it out. I definitely wanted to ensure that if you didn't have a Spotify, iTunes, or Apple podcast account, that you can easily get to me on YouTube. And, at Healing in Hindsight on Instagram, facebook.com/Healing in Hindsight, obviously YouTube channel Healing in Hindsight, but you can never go wrong with heading on over to healinginhindsight.com for all the episodes, show notes, and all things me. So until then, I will catch you guys next time. Hope you're having a great day, week, weekend, wherever you are.